Ambassador Krelvac stood at the observation window of the Federation Council station, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he watched the human delegation's ship approach. The vessel was old. It had dents and scratches on its hull. Any other species would have scrapped it long ago, but the humans had simply painted over the damage and kept flying it. "They are here," Krelvac said to his assistant, a young Valorian named Tessra. "The humans have arrived for the emergency summit." Tessra checked her data pad. "Ambassador, I have reviewed their species file again. I do not understand why the Council invited them. They have only been in the Federation for 12 cycles. They are young. They are primitive compared to us." Krelvac made a clicking sound with his mandibles. It was the Krellian way of showing concern. "The Council believes they may help us with the Void Plague. Their planet had many diseases. They survived them all." "But this is different," Tessra said. "The Void Plague has already killed 3 billion Valorians. It has spread to 7 worlds. Our best scientists cannot stop it." "And neither can the humans," Krelvac admitted. "But they asked to come anyway. They said they want to help. The Council could not say no." The human ship docked with a loud clang that made Tessra flinch. The docking was rough and imprecise. Most Federation species used automated systems that connected ships smoothly and quietly. The humans, it seemed, still used manual controls. When the airlock opened, 3 humans walked through. 2 were wearing simple gray uniforms. The third, a woman with gray hair and deep lines on her face, wore a white coat. She carried a bag that looked heavy. "Ambassador Krelvac," the woman said, "I am Dr. Sarah Chen. These are my assistants Marcus Webb and Yuki Tanaka. Thank you for allowing us to come." Krelvac bowed his head slightly. "Dr. Chen, the Council is grateful for your offer of assistance. However, I must be honest with you. Many members believe this trip will be pointless. The Void Plague is beyond our understanding. It kills quickly and spreads faster. We have lost some of our greatest minds to it already." Dr. Chen nodded slowly. Her face did not show fear. This surprised Krelvac. Most species showed fear when they heard about the Void Plague. "We know," she said. "We read all the reports. We know this disease has a 97% fatality rate. We know there is no cure. We know that everyone who has tried to study it has died." "Then why are you here?" Tessra asked. Her voice was sharp. She did not understand these humans. Dr. Chen smiled. It was a small smile, tired but real. "Because someone has to try. That is what humans do. We try." Krelvac led the humans through the station to the medical wing. Along the way, they passed many other species. The Valorians with their blue skin and tall bodies. The Korthans, who moved on 6 legs and spoke through vibrations. The Malaxians, whose bodies were mostly liquid contained in special suits. All of them looked at the humans with curiosity. Some looked with pity. A few looked with something like hope, though they tried to hide it. "The quarantine zone is ahead," Krelvac explained. "Beyond those doors are 23 infected patients. 12 are Valorian, 6 are Korthan, 5 are from other species. They are all dying. Our doctors have given up." "Given up?" Marcus Webb said. He was a young man with dark skin and bright eyes. "What do you mean, given up?" Krelvac stopped walking. He turned to face the human. "I mean they have accepted that these patients will die. The disease cannot be stopped. Trying to stop it only risks more lives. Our doctors have decided to make the patients comfortable until the end." Marcus looked at Dr. Chen, then at Yuki, then back at Krelvac. His face showed an emotion that Krelvac did not recognize. "With respect, Ambassador," Marcus said, "that is not how we do things." "What do you mean?" Dr. Chen stepped forward. "He means we do not give up. Not ever. Not while there is still breath in our patients and ideas in our heads. That is not the human way." Tessra made a sound of frustration. "But you will die. The disease will infect you. You will suffer for days and then you will die. What is the point?" Yuki Tanaka spoke for the first time. She was a small woman with short black hair. Her voice was quiet but steady. The point is that we might find something. One of us might notice something that others missed. One of us might have an idea that no one else had. And even if we die, we will leave notes. We will leave data. Someone will come after us and continue our work. This is madness, Tessera said. No, Dr. Chen replied. This is humanity. They reached the quarantine doors. Krelvax pressed his palm against the scanner, and the doors slid open with a hiss. Beyond was a long hallway leading to the isolation chambers. I will not go further, Krelvax said. I cannot risk infection. The Federation needs its ambassadors. We understand, Dr. Chen said. She was already walking toward the hallway. Wait, Krelvax called out. I must ask you one more time. Are you certain? Once you enter, you cannot leave until the quarantine ends. That is 40 cycles. The disease usually kills in 20. You are walking to your deaths. Dr. Chen stopped. She turned around. Her eyes met Krelvax's 4 eyes, and he saw something in them that he had never seen in any species before. It was not courage exactly. It was not hope. It was something harder, something more stubborn. It was refusal. Refusal to accept the obvious ending. Refusal to stop fighting even when fighting was foolish. Ambassador, she said, my grandmother survived a disease that killed 50 million people on our planet. My grandfather survived a war that killed 60 million. My mother survived an accident that should have killed her, and she walked again when doctors said she never would. Humans do not give up. It is not in our nature. It is not in our blood. We have been fighting against death since we first existed, and we will keep fighting until the universe itself ends. She turned and walked through the doors. Marcus and Yuki followed her. The doors closed behind them with a heavy thud. Krelvax stood there for a long moment, his 4 eyes fixed on the closed doors. Beside him, Tessera was quiet. They are fools, Tessera finally said. Perhaps, Krelvax replied. Or perhaps they are something else entirely, something we do not yet understand. He turned and walked away, but his thoughts remained with the 3 humans who had just walked willingly into death. He wondered if he would ever understand them. He wondered if any species ever could. Inside the quarantine zone, Dr. Chen wasted no time. She set up her equipment in the small room that had been assigned to them. It was basic. A table, 3 chairs, a computer terminal that connected to the station's medical database. Marcus, I want you to review all the autopsy reports, she said. Look for anything unusual, anything the other doctors might have missed. Yes, doctor, Marcus said. He was already typing on the terminal. Yuki, you will work with me on the living patients. We need samples, blood, tissue, everything we can get. Yuki nodded. She was unpacking the bag that Dr. Chen had carried. Inside were tools and containers and machines that Krelvax would not have recognized. They were human medical equipment, built for human hands and human problems. Doctor, Yuki said quietly, do you really think we can find something? The Federation has been studying this disease for 3 cycles. They have technology we cannot imagine. What can we do that they cannot? Dr. Chen stopped what she was doing. She looked at Yuki with serious eyes. Yuki, do you know the story of how we discovered penicillin? The first antibiotic. Yes, it was an accident. A scientist left a dish of bacteria uncovered and mold grew on it. Most scientists would have thrown it away. It was contaminated. It was ruined. But Alexander Fleming did not throw it away. He looked at it and noticed that the bacteria near the mold had died. He was curious. He was stubborn. He refused to ignore what he had seen, even though it seemed like nothing important. Yuki understood. You think we might see something the Federation missed? I think we see things differently than they do. We come from a different world with different experiences. The Federation species are advanced. They are intelligent, but they have also been successful for a long time. Success can make you blind. It can make you think you know everything. It can make you give up when things get hard because you are not used to things being hard. She returned to her work. Humans are different. We grew up on a dangerous world. Everything tried to kill us. The weather, the animals, the diseases, each other. We survived because we refused to die. We survived because we were too stubborn to know when to quit. Marcus looked up from his terminal. "Doctor, I found something." "What is it?" "The autopsy reports. They are very detailed. The Federation doctors examined every organ, every cell. They found where the disease attacks. They found how it spreads. They found everything. But they did not look at the time. They did not study when things happen." Dr. Chen walked over to his terminal. She looked at the data on the screen. Numbers and charts and images filled the display. "What do you mean?" she asked. Marcus pointed to a series of numbers. "The disease kills in about 20 cycles. That is what everyone says, but look at this. The actual time of death varies. Some patients died in 15 cycles, some died in 25, and a few," he scrolled down, "a few lasted almost 40 cycles." "That is normal variation," Yuki said. "Different bodies react differently." "Yes," Marcus agreed. But the Federation doctors did not ask why. They did not study the patients who lasted longer. They assumed those patients were just lucky. Dr. Chen's eyes narrowed. She was thinking, but what if they were not lucky? What if there is a reason some patients last longer? "Exactly," Marcus said. "I want to find out what those patients had in common. Maybe there is something in their biology. Maybe there is something in their behavior. Maybe there is something we can use." Dr. Chen put her hand on Marcus's shoulder. "Good work, keep digging." She turned to Yuki. "We need to talk to the patients. The ones who are still alive, I want to know everything about them. What they ate, what they did, what they were thinking, everything." "The Federation doctors already asked those questions," Yuki said. "Then we will ask them again, and again, and again, until we find something they missed." Yuki nodded. She understood now. This was what Dr. Chen meant. This was the human way, not giving up, not accepting failure, asking the same question 100 times until you finally got a different answer. They put on their protective suits and entered the first isolation chamber. Inside was a Valorian male. His blue skin had turned gray. His eyes were dull. He was dying. "Hello," Dr. Chen said gently. "My name is Sarah. I am here to help you." The Valorian looked at her with weak eyes. "You are human," he said. His voice was thin and tired. "Yes." "Why are you here? Your species cannot catch this disease. You have nothing to gain." Dr. Chen sat down beside his bed. She took his hand in hers. His skin was cold. "We are here because you need help," she said. "That is all the reason we need." The Valorian stared at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, a tear ran down his gray cheek. "My people have given up on me," he said. "My doctors said I am already dead. They are just waiting for my body to stop moving." "Then your people are wrong," Dr. Chen said. "You are not dead. You are still here. You are still fighting. And as long as you are fighting, we will fight with you." The Valorian closed his eyes. More tears came. "I do not understand humans," he whispered. "I do not understand why you would do this." "You do not have to understand," Dr. Chen replied. "You just have to believe. Can you do that? Can you believe that we will try everything to save you?" The Valorian opened his eyes. For the first time in many days, there was something in them besides despair. It was not much, just a tiny spark, but it was there. "I can try," he said. Dr. Chen smiled. "That is all we ask." 3 cycles passed. Dr. Chen, Marcus, and Yuki worked without rest. They slept in shifts, only 2 or 3 hours at a time. They studied every patient. They reviewed every report. They ran tests that the Federation doctors had never thought to run. Outside the quarantine zone, the Federation Council watched with growing interest. Krelvax reported to them daily. "The humans have not given up," he told them. "They have been working constantly. They have spoken to every patient multiple times. They have taken thousands of samples. They have filled our database with new data. But have they found anything? Council Leader Vorn asked. He was an ancient Malaxian, his liquid body contained in a suit that was older than most species civilizations. Not yet, Krelvax admitted, but they believe they are close to something. They say they have found a pattern. What pattern? I do not know the details. Dr. Chen said she will explain when she has more evidence. The council members exchanged looks. They were skeptical. 3 cycles was not long, but the humans were young and inexperienced. What could they possibly find that the Federation's best scientists had missed? But they waited. They had no other options. Inside the quarantine zone, Dr. Chen was indeed close to something. She stood in front of a large screen, looking at data that Marcus had compiled. There, she said, pointing to a cluster of numbers. Do you see it? Marcus and Yuki looked. They had been staring at data for so long that their eyes hurt, but they saw what Dr. Chen was pointing at. The survivors, Yuki said slowly. The patients who lasted longer. They all have elevated levels of a certain protein. Not just any protein, Dr. Chen said. A stress protein. Their bodies were producing more of it than normal. But stress proteins are common, Marcus said. Every species produces them when they are sick or injured. Yes, but not like this. Dr. Chen pulled up more data. Look at the levels. The patients who lasted longest had stress protein levels 10 times higher than normal. Their bodies were fighting harder than anyone else's. So they were just naturally stronger, Yuki asked. No, that is what the Federation doctors thought, but I talked to these patients. I asked them about their lives, and do you know what I found? Marcus and Yuki waited. They were all stubborn, Dr. Chen said. Not just a little stubborn, extremely stubborn. They were the kind of people who refused to accept anything they did not like. They argued with their doctors. They refused to believe they were dying. They fought against the disease not just with their bodies but with their minds. There was silence in the room. Then Marcus spoke. Are you saying that being stubborn made them survive longer? I am saying that their refusal to accept death triggered a biological response. Their brains told their bodies to fight harder. Their stress protein levels went up. Their immune systems worked overtime. They did not cure themselves, but they slowed the disease. That is, Yuki paused, searching for the word. That is incredible and also very human. Dr. Chen nodded. It is, and it gave me an idea. She walked to her bag and pulled out a small case. Inside were several vials of clear liquid. What is that? Marcus asked. It is a drug we use on Earth. It was developed to help soldiers survive in combat. It increases stress protein production. It makes the body fight harder. You want to give it to the patients? Yes. If stubbornness can slow the disease, then maybe this drug can slow it even more. Maybe it can slow it enough for their immune systems to actually fight back. Yuki looked concerned. Doctor, this drug was made for humans. We do not know how it will affect other species. No, we do not, Dr. Chen agreed. It could make them worse. It could kill them faster, but they are dying anyway. If we do nothing, they will all be dead in 20 cycles. If we try something, at least there is a chance. She looked at her 2 assistants. I will not force you to help me. This is risky. If it goes wrong, the Federation might blame us. They might be angry. Marcus shrugged. I did not come here to play it safe. I came here to help. Same, Yuki said. Let us do it. Dr. Chen smiled. It was the first real smile she had shown in days. Then let us get to work. We have patients to save. They started with the Valorian male that Dr. Chen had spoken to on the first day. His name was Kelthar, and he was still alive. Barely. Kelthar, Dr. Chen said gently. I have something I want to try. It is a drug from my planet. It might help you fight the disease. Kelthar's eyes opened slowly. He was weaker now. His gray skin was almost black in places. "Will it save me?" he asked. "I do not know. It might not. It might make things worse. I will not lie to you." Kelthar was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed. It was a weak laugh, more of a cough, but it was a laugh. "You humans are strange," he said. "Any other doctor would tell me this drug is certain to help. They would lie to make me feel better, but you tell me the truth." "You deserve the truth," Dr. Chen said. "This is your life. You should be able to make your own choices." "Then I choose to try," Kelthar said. "Give me the drug, let me fight." Dr. Chen injected the drug into Kelthar's arm. For a moment nothing happened. Then Kelthar gasped. His body tensed. His eyes went wide. "What is happening?" he asked. "Your body is waking up," Dr. Chen said. "It is getting ready to fight." Kelthar's breathing became faster. His hands clenched into fists. The monitors around his bed began to show changes. His stress protein levels were rising. His immune system was activating. "I feel strange," Kelthar said. "I feel angry. I feel like I want to fight." "Good," Dr. Chen said. "That is exactly what we need. Fight, Kelthar. Fight with everything you have." They watched him through the night. His condition did not improve immediately, but it also did not get worse. The disease was still killing him, but it was killing him slower now. "It is working," Yuki whispered. "Not well enough," Dr. Chen replied. "The drug alone is not enough. We need something more. We need to find a way to boost the effect." She thought for a long time, watching Kelthar breathe. Then an idea came to her. "Marcus," she said, "I need you to do something for me." "Anything." "I need you to talk to Kelthar. Tell him stories. Stories about humans. Stories about how we survived. Stories about our stubbornness." Marcus looked confused. "Stories, how will that help?" "The drug affects the body, but stubbornness starts in the mind. If we can make Kelthar believe that survival is possible, really believe it, his mind will tell his body to fight even harder. We are not just treating his disease, we are treating his despair." Marcus understood. He pulled a chair next to Kelthar's bed and began to talk. He told Kelthar about the time humans survived an ice age with nothing but fire and fur. He told him about the plagues that killed half the planet's population and how humanity rebuilt. He told him about the wars, the disasters, the famines, and how humans refused to die every single time. "We are not special," Marcus said. "We are not the strongest species or the smartest, but we are the most stubborn. When the universe tells us to die, we say no. When everything is hopeless, we find hope anyway. That is who we are. That is what we do." Kelthar listened, and as he listened, something changed in his eyes. The spark that Dr. Chen had seen on the first day grew brighter. "I want to live," Kelthar said. His voice was stronger now. "I refuse to die, not today, not like this." The monitors showed another spike in his stress protein levels. His immune system activated further. For the first time since he was infected, his body was fighting back. "That is it," Dr. Chen said. "That is what we needed. The drug and the determination together. They work together." She looked at Marcus and Yuki. "We need to do this for all the patients. Treat them with the drug and fill them with stories. Give them something to fight for. Give them a reason to be stubborn." It was a crazy plan. It was not scientific in the traditional sense. The Federation doctors would have laughed at the idea of treating a deadly disease with drugs and stories. But Dr. Chen was human, and humans did not care about what was traditional. They cared about what worked. Over the next 10 cycles, the 3 humans worked harder than they had ever worked in their lives. They treated every patient with the stress-boosting drug. They talked to each one, sharing stories and encouragement. They taught the patients how to be stubborn, how to refuse death, how to fight even when fighting seemed pointless. Not everyone survived. Some patients were too far gone. The disease had damaged them too much, and no amount of determination could save them. 8 patients died in the first 10 cycles. But the others lived. Kelthar was the first to show real improvement. His skin began to turn blue again. His eyes grew brighter. After 15 cycles, the disease in his body had stopped spreading. "How is this possible?" Yuki asked as she reviewed the test results. "The disease was killing him. Now it is dormant." "His body learned to fight it," Dr. Chen explained. "The stress proteins gave his immune system time to adapt. His determination kept him alive long enough for his body to figure out how to survive." "But this should not work," Yuki said. "The disease is too strong. The Federation's best medicines could not stop it." Federation medicines were designed to kill the disease directly. They did not work because the disease adapted too fast. Our approach was different. We did not try to kill the disease. We helped the body defend itself. We bought time. Outside the quarantine zone, news of the miracle was spreading. Krelvax reported to the council that 5 patients who should have been dead were now stable. 2 were actually improving. "This is impossible," Council Leader Vorn said. "No one has ever survived the Void Plague. How did the humans do it?" "I do not fully understand," Krelvax admitted. "Dr. Chen says it is a combination of medicine and psychology. She says the patients learn to be stubborn." "Stubborn? That is not a medical treatment." "For humans it might be." The council was confused. They had access to technology that could reshape planets and bend space. They had science that seemed like magic to younger species, but they did not have what the humans had. They did not have 10,000 years of fighting against a universe that wanted them dead. They did not have the deep, burning refusal to accept defeat that was written into human DNA. They had evolved on peaceful worlds with kind climates. They had developed intelligence through cooperation and calm thought. Humans had developed intelligence through war and suffering and plague. Every human alive was descended from survivors. Every human carried in their blood the legacy of ancestors who had refused to die. This was what the Federation was beginning to understand. Inside the quarantine zone, Dr. Chen was treating her last patient. She was a Korthan female named Skrilen. She was young, only 50 cycles old, which was barely an adult for her species. She was also the most serious case. The disease had spread through her body faster than any other patient. "I am going to die," Skrilen said. Her voice was a series of vibrations that Dr. Chen's translator turned into words. "I can feel it. My body is failing." "Your body is not failing," Dr. Chen said firmly. "It is fighting, and you are going to help it." "How? I am not strong like the others. I have never been strong." Dr. Chen sat down beside her. She took one of Skrilen's 6 legs in her hands and held it gently. "Let me tell you a story," she said. "When I was young, I was very sick. I had a disease that damaged my lungs. The doctors said I would never breathe normally again. They said I would never run, never swim, never play sports. They said I should accept my limitations and live a quiet life." Skrilen's many eyes focused on Dr. Chen. "What did you do?" "I said no. I refused to accept it. I trained my lungs every day. I breathed exercises when I woke up and before I went to sleep. I ran even when it hurt. I swam even when I could barely breathe. It took me 10 years, but I proved the doctors wrong. I became a doctor myself. I climbed mountains. I swam across rivers." "You fixed your lungs through stubbornness." "I fixed my lungs through refusing to give up. The stubbornness came naturally." Skrilen was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. "I have never been stubborn. My species values acceptance. We believe in flowing with the universe, not fighting against it." "That is a beautiful philosophy," Dr. Chen said. "But sometimes the universe is wrong. Sometimes you have to push back. Sometimes you have to say, 'No, I will not accept this. I will not go quietly. I will fight.' Can you teach me? Can you teach me to be stubborn?" Dr. Chen smiled. "That is exactly what I am going to do." For the next 5 cycles, Dr. Chen stayed with Skrilen constantly. She taught her meditation techniques that focused on determination. She told her stories about human survivors. She showed her pictures of Earth, of the harsh deserts and frozen mountains and violent oceans that humans called home. "Your planet is dangerous," Skrelin said one day, looking at a picture of a hurricane. "Yes, everything on our planet tried to kill us. The weather, the animals, the diseases, even the plants. How did you survive?" "We refused to die. We kept trying even when it was hopeless. We passed that refusal down to our children and they passed it to their children. After thousands of generations, stubbornness became part of who we are. It is in our genes. It is in our souls." "I want that," Skrelin said. Her voice was stronger now. The drug was working. Her stress protein levels were rising. "I want to refuse. I want to fight." "Then fight, right now. Feel the disease in your body. Feel how it is trying to kill you, and tell it no. Tell it you will not die. Tell it you are stronger than it is." Skrelin closed her many eyes. Her body tensed. Her legs curled inward. Then slowly she began to vibrate. It was a low sound at first, but it grew louder. It was the Korthan equivalent of a scream. "No," she vibrated. "No, no, no, I will not die. I refuse, I refuse." The monitors around her bed went crazy. Her vital signs spiked. Her immune system activated at levels that should have been impossible. Her body was flooding itself with stress proteins and antibodies and every weapon it had. Dr. Chen watched with tears in her eyes. This was what she had come for. This was what humans could give to the galaxy. Not technology, not weapons, not resources, but the simple, powerful knowledge that giving up was always a choice and that the right choice was to fight. Skrelin's body burned with fever for 2 days. Dr. Chen stayed with her through all of it, holding her leg, talking to her, encouraging her. Marcus and Yuki took turns keeping watch on the other patients, who were all improving. On the 3rd day, Skrelin's fever broke. Her vital signs stabilized. The disease in her body was not gone, but it was contained. Her immune system had learned to fight it. "I did it," Skrelin whispered. "I refused to die." "You did," Dr. Chen said. "You are the most stubborn Korthan in history." Skrelin made a sound that was almost a laugh. "I am, and I like it." When the quarantine period ended, Dr. Chen and her team walked out to find the entire Federation Council waiting for them. Krelvac stood at the front, his 4 eyes wide with an emotion he could not name. "Dr. Chen," Council Leader Vorn said, 15 patients entered that quarantine zone. 9 of them are still alive. 3 are actually cured. You have done what our best scientists said was impossible." "I did not do it alone," Dr. Chen said. "Marcus and Yuki helped, and the patients themselves did the real work. But the technique was yours, the idea was yours." Vorn moved closer. His liquid body shifted in his suit. "How did you know? How did you know that stubbornness could fight a disease?" Dr. Chen thought about the question for a long moment. Then she spoke. "When I was a child, my grandmother told me a story. She said that humans are not special. We are not the strongest or the smartest or the fastest, but we are the hardest to kill. Because every time the universe tries to kill us, we say no. We refuse. We fight. And sometimes, just sometimes, that is enough." She looked at the council members, at the dozens of species that had gathered to see the human miracle workers. "The Federation is advanced. You have technology we cannot imagine. You have solved problems that we are still struggling with, but you have also forgotten something. You have forgotten that survival is not given. It is earned. It is fought for. Every day, every moment, you have to choose to keep going. You have to choose to be stubborn." "We evolved past such needs," one of the council members said. He was a Malaxian like Vorn, but younger. "Our species no longer faces survival threats. We have controlled our environments. We have eliminated disease and danger." "And that is why you are vulnerable," Dr. Chen said. "You have forgotten how to fight. When the Void Plague came, you did not know what to do. You tried your technology, and when it failed, you gave up. You accepted death." She shook her head slowly. "Humans never accept death. We know it will come eventually, but we fight it every step of the way. That is not a weakness. It is our greatest strength." Krelvac stepped forward. "Dr. Chen, you have given us more than a cure. You have given us a lesson, but I must ask, can this lesson be taught? Can we learn to be stubborn like humans?" "Yes," Dr. Chen said without hesitation. "Stubbornness is not something you are born with. It is something you practice. It is a choice you make every day. You can learn it. All of you can." The council was silent. They were thinking, processing, trying to understand. They were the leaders of the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. They had everything except the one thing humans had in abundance. Finally, Council Leader Vorn spoke. "We would like to propose something, Dr. Chen. We would like to establish a human presence on every major Federation world. Not scientists or soldiers, teachers. People who can teach our citizens what you taught those patients in quarantine. People who can teach us to be stubborn." Dr. Chen looked at Marcus and Yuki. They both nodded. "We would be honored," she said. And so it began. The humans came to the Federation not as conquerors or traders, but as teachers. They taught the peaceful, advanced species of the galaxy something that technology could not provide. They taught them to fight. They taught them to refuse. They taught them to be stubborn. The Void Plague was eventually defeated, not by a cure but by a population that had learned not to give up. Other threats came and went, and each time, the Federation faced them with a new determination. They had learned the human lesson. On the anniversary of the quarantine mission, a statue was erected on the Federation Council Station. It showed 3 humans walking through a doorway, headed toward danger. At the base of the statue were carved words in every Federation language. The words were simple. They refused to give up. Krelvax visited the statue often. He would stand before it and remember the day he watched 3 foolish humans walk into a death sentence. He would remember how he had pitied them, how he had been certain they would fail. Now he understood. The humans had never been foolish. They had been human, and being human meant being too stubborn to know when to quit. It meant fighting even when fighting was pointless. It meant refusing to accept the obvious ending. "Ambassador," Tesra said one day, finding him at the statue, "what are you thinking?" Krelvax made the clicking sound that meant he was amused. "I am thinking that I was wrong about the humans. I thought they were primitive. I thought they were weak, but they are neither." "What are they?" Krelvax turned to his assistant. She was older now, wiser. She had learned many things from the humans over the years. "They are survivors," he said. "Every single one of them, from their first ancestor to their last descendant. Survival is not just something they do, it is something they are, and they have shared that gift with us." Tesra nodded. "They have, and the Federation is stronger because of it." They stood together in silence, looking at the statue of the 3 humans. Dr. Chen had retired years ago, but her work continued. Marcus and Yuki had trained thousands of teachers. The human lesson of stubbornness had spread to every corner of the galaxy. And somewhere, in a small hospital on a distant world, a Velorian doctor was sitting beside a dying patient. The doctor was holding the patient's hand and telling them a story. "Let me tell you about humans," the doctor said. "They are not the strongest species or the smartest, but they taught us the most important thing. They taught us that giving up is always a choice, and the right choice is to fight." The patient listened, and slowly a spark appeared in their eyes, a spark of determination, a spark of stubbornness, a spark of humanity. The story of the human survival mechanism had become the story of the Federation itself, and it would be told for thousands of years, passed down from generation to generation, species to species. Because that is what humans do. They survive, they refuse to quit, and they teach others to do the same. The universe is vast and dangerous. full of threats that cannot be predicted or controlled. But as long as there are beings willing to be stubborn, willing to fight, willing to say no to death and despair, there is hope. The humans gave the galaxy that hope, and the galaxy would never forget.